Greetings, fourth grade. Are you ready to go on a historical fiction journey with me? I sure hope you are. So, listen, readers. Last night, I went to my attic. I forgot what I really had come for because I noticed sitting on top of a stack of boxes an old book. I really couldn't see what the title was because it was kind of old and it was kind of washed out. So I picked up the book and started flipping through the pages. And then I looked at the title page again. And I kind of tried to peer to see what it said, and I noticed that it said The Babe and I. Readers, when I read that title, I was back in the Bronx, New York in 1933 during a time period, a historical time period called the Great Depression. Now, the Great Depression was a time period when a lot of American families had lost their jobs, particularly the dads. So this particular book was about a boy named Jacob who thought that his dad actually had a job because his dad was leaving every morning with this little briefcase and acting like he was going to work until one day he saw him as him and his friend were walking the streets on the corner selling apples to earn money. He was selling the apples for 5 cents. Then he decided he wanted to do something. He decided he was going to sell newspapers in the front of the Yankee Stadium in New York. He ended up meeting Babe Ruth, who was a professional baseball player back in those times. And he ended up earning a lot of money to help out with his family. Readers, I was about 9 in the 5th grade when I first read this book. And the good thing about reading this book was it made me understand the Great Depression from a kid's point of view. And also it made me want to go out and do things like that, brave like that, to help my family if I needed to. Just maybe want to be brave. That's what's so enthralling about historical fiction, readers. It lets you go back to a time period that you didn't live in, and it lets you learn about all of these different time periods and be brave. Okay? So that's the journey that you guys are going to be going on in these next couple of weeks during your historical fiction book clubs unit. With that in mind, guys, today I want to teach you that historical fiction readers pay particular attention at the start of a book to analyze the setting, when the story takes place, where and what the place feels like. They read analytically, studying parts that clue them into the facts, the feelings, or the setting. They always think when, where, and what. So how do you read analytically? You read thinking, what clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? You keep your eyes open to signs of trouble brewing. Guys, I know we've been reading Rose Blanche. I know we started the other day. But we're going to just go back for the purpose of this lesson because I want to make sure that when you are reading your historical fiction books, you know how to read them and you're getting the most out of them, okay? So you already know when you're reading any kind of books, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, you want to read with the lens of whatever kind of genre it is. So since we're reading fiction, we know that there's going to be some type of trouble brewing. So we have to read thinking, what clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? And we have to keep our eyes open to the signs of trouble brewing by noticing when things start to change in a bad way. We know that because we are already fiction readers. So I'm going to try this work with Rose Blanche. I'm going to read thinking, what clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? And I'm going to keep my eyes open to the signs of trouble brewing by noticing the things that start to change in a bad way. My name is Rose Blanche. I live in a small town in Germany with narrow streets, old fountains, and tall houses with pigeons on the roofs. One day the truck arrived and many men left. They were dressed as soldiers. Winter was beginning. What clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? Okay, well, She lives in a small town in Germany with narrow streets, old fountains, and tall houses with pigeons on the roofs. It almost kind of sounds like a peaceful place. Sounds like not much is going on. Sounds pretty quiet. Then it says, one day the first truck arrived and many men left. I'm noticing things are starting to change. I'm noticing that trouble might be brewing because it just says that the first truck arrived and many men left. And they were dressed as soldiers. And I know that when soldiers are going somewhere, a lot of them at one time, there's trouble starting to brew because it sounds like war. Winter was beginning. And I know that winter is a cold time, not necessarily sad because we have holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, but in the context that this author is giving it to me on this page, it seems like trouble is brewing. Things are starting to change. Okay. So guys, did you see what I did? I read knowing that there were going to be some type of trouble brewing. I didn't wait for something big to happen. I read right away, noticing those small details of when things started to change. And I was picking up on the clues that suggested what type of a place it was. So it's time for you guys to try this workout so that you're successful when you're reading alone at home or with your parents, your sister, your brother, whoever your reading partner is. But you're going to do the same thing I did. You're going to read thinking, what clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? And you're going to read thinking, or you're going to read keeping your eyes open to signs of trouble brewing by noticing when things start to change in a bad way. You're going to listen as I read, and you're going to jot down those things. And then you're going to pause this video and share these details with your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, whoever you have chosen for your reading partner. And when you are done, you're going to just unpause. So first, listen to me read while you jot down the details of what type of a place this is and signs of trouble brewing. Sometimes it seems things haven't really changed, but my mother wants me to be careful crossing the street between all of the trucks. She says soldiers won't slow down. Lots of times I walk by the river just looking at it. Branches floating along and branches float along and sometimes old broken toys. I like the color of the river. It looks like the sky. The trucks are fun to watch. We stand in the doorway as they pass. We don't know where they're going, but we think they're going someplace on the other side of the river. One day, one of them stopped so the soldiers could repair the engine. A little boy jumped from the back of the truck and tried to run away. But the mayor was standing there in the middle of the street. He grabbed the little boy by the collar and brought him back to the truck. Then he smiled at the soldiers without speaking, and they thanked him. The sky was gray. The soldiers climbed back into the truck. Door banged shut, and it pulled away. It happened very fast. I certainly have some ideas about what type of a place this is, and I certainly see trouble brewing on this page and how things are changing, okay? So I want you to pause this video and share these details, the details that you were writing down, that you were noticing, with your mom, dad, sister, or brother, whoever you've chosen as your reading partner. And then just unpause when you come back. Great, you're back. So some of the things that you may have noticed was when the author stated that the river is getting dirty and it is full of broken toys. The place is becoming grim. That's what I thought to myself. This place is becoming grim. Now it started off just telling about how, the town had pigeons on the roofs and, they had long, tall houses. Nothing really was going on. But now it seems like it's getting grim. The streets are more crowded. The soldiers won't slow down. They saw a little boy jump off the back of a truck and the mayor brought him back. And there's more barbed wire in the pictures now. Okay? And also it said that it was gray outside. That's setting the mood. Okay? Because if it's gray outside, it seems like I said earlier, the place is becoming grim. So, guys, as you go on your historical fiction journeys, I want you to remember how strong historical fiction readers read. They read thinking, what clues is the author giving me that suggests what kind of place this is? And they keep their eyes open to signs of trouble brewing by noticing when things start to change in a bad way. All right, so now I want you to go to your epic accounts that your teachers have set up for you. I want you to choose one book to read for about 20 minutes from your historical fiction book collection that your teacher has designed for you. And I want you to fill out your digital reading log and submit. But while you are reading, I want you to make sure that you are reading analytically with everything that you've learned today. I want you to study the parts that clue you into the facts, the feelings, or the setting. And I want you to do that today and every day, every time you read historical fiction, guys. All right, I think you're ready for your historical fiction journey today. So off you go.